is having a vision more important than chasing a salary?
Absolutely.
Why do you think
Absolutely. Chasing a salary, chasing that little increase, chasing that specific number, it becomes unfulfilling because there is no number that's ever going to be enough. So when you have a compelling vision, it becomes the governor that pushes you, that controls you. And then a salary will fall somewhere under that because God will always make provision for a vision that is compelling. You're supposed to be developing yourself and working on yourself in such a way that...
Welcome to another episode of In the Making. So guys, today we got for you special. You know we're always cooking and we want to bring a little bit of flavor into your lives and our lives as well because we're in the making. So guys, before I introduce my guest, as always, I need to introduce your host, your favorite, Nigel Moyo. What's up, bro? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic, man.
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me, guys, again. Nigel Moyo,
Yes, sir.
better known to all because my name is hard. Nigel is hard somehow.
Yeah.
They know me as Mr. Moyo.
Yes, sir.
So today we, as always, we have somebody special, somebody wonderful. You know him. We call him PG as
Global.
Poloko Global.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Welcome to the podcast.
Gentlemen, good to be here.
Thank
Good to
you,
be
thank
here,
you,
man.
Nice to have
I
you.
look forward to the conversation.
Yeah. So, Mr. Puluko, I was saying to him before we started that a few years back I was watching a video of his where he's saying 10 years from now, who would you have become? And I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to actually create that video?
It was a point in my life where for me to say 10 years from now was because for a moment I was discouraged by where I was at the time.
Okay.
Because at that point, I was trying to figure out the 20s, trying to figure out what's next. And as I was doing all this work, not really seeing the results that I wanted at the time, there's something that just reminded me that everything you're doing right now is a seed for tomorrow. Nothing is wasted.
Yeah.
Nothing is wasted. And seeds are different. Some seeds are good seeds, some seeds are bad seeds. So 10 years from now, you will reap the harvest from the seeds that you planted today, whether good or bad. It doesn't matter. So at that time for me, it was me just really talking to myself to say, I know you're discouraged right now. I know that it feels like you are not seeing the results for the work, but you just got into your 20s. Well, I was somewhere in the mid-20s, but you still have a long way to go. This is not a short-term game. So focus, keep your head in the game, do the work necessary, and 10 years from now, we can talk. Because a lot of us, especially as young guys, what happens is we have the tendency of being short-sighted in our perspective. From when we were teenagers, we imagine ourselves at 25 with the Lambos and the mansions and the yachts and the private jets. We see that at 25, but when you get into your 20s, you realize that it's not what you thought. You realize that you were so short-sighted that you didn't realize that much of this is a long play.
It's a long game,
right? It's a long game. So for me, at that point, I realized, okay, matters of making myself into the man that I envision myself becoming. It's not an overnight thing. Give it 10 years, right? And so from the point of that video, with what I'm doing now, I told myself, give it 10 years. I know you want to quit right now, just give it 10 years. At the end of 10 years, you won't be an old man. You can always start over. You can always do whatever. But the point is, just give it 10 years, see where it goes. So that's what it was for me. 10 years from now, we'll see what it is that you are doing today. Because you can lie to us, right? You can get on social media and tell us, it's the grind, it's grind season, I move in silence. It's fine. You can tell us that you're moving in silence, but 10 years from now, we'll know. When it's still silent in your life, we say, no, man.
You look at the fruits.
No. Because what's happening right now is a result of 10 years ago. Absolutely.
So what was your vision back then, and would you say you have accomplished your vision?
I'm still far. I'm still very, very far because at the time, and you have to realize how you progress throughout your 20s, right? And background also matters. When you're someone like me who comes from a background where you used to struggle, where there wasn't much money, where there wasn't a lot of opportunities, what happens is that you start looking for just enough, right? Just the bare minimum. I just wanna not worry about food, right? And as soon as you don't worry about food, you think you've arrived, and that arrival mentality is dangerous. So, for me, I realized at the time that the vision has to be way bigger than survival. Because someone who comes from poverty, someone who comes from a less privileged background, might be tamed into just survive. Just survive. As long as you can have some food, as long as you can live, you're gonna be okay. But the vision is so much bigger than that. I am still so far away, man. And funny enough, I am so far from where I was 5 years ago. I'm so far from where I was 5 years ago, man. I've come a long way, but I'm still so far away from where I'm actually going. Absolutely.
So it's basically you can never get too close.
You can never get too close. Because, and again, that's why I say the arrival mentality is the enemy. Because a lot of people right now are working towards arriving at something. For somebody, it's a car. As soon as they get the car, they relax. You know, as soon as they get the house, they relax. As soon as they get married, as soon as they get to whatever it is that they are working towards right now. But you have to realize that it's more than just about stuff. It's more than just about places. It's realizing that the potential within you is infinite. And when I say infinite, I actually mean it. And I know that we've been conditioned to look forward to this idea of retirement, but I look at world leaders, which are people who understand something that most people don't understand. The fact that world leaders rule the world in their 80s, you know, into their 90s. People are kings at 100. So I realized that arrival mentality is the biggest enemy of most people. They just want to get out of the struggle right now, make it to their 30s, maybe 35. I have this, I have that. Now I can relax. And just like that, you start dying. You start dying. You've wasted opportunity. You've wasted the potential.
So in your view, is having a vision more important than chasing a salary?
Absolutely.
Why do you think
Absolutely. You see, how old are you guys now?
So I'm 21
And I'm 22.
21 and 22. Man, that is so cool. that is so cool. That is so cool. I'll tell you something. I wish I was asking these questions when I was 21 and 22. I really wish I was. So you guys are far ahead of the game. You are ahead of the game.
Thank you so much.
So that's really cool to see. But you see, when I was younger, when I was, I think 22 or 23, I had this goal. I wanted a salary of 10,000. Right? I said, man, if I can get 10,000 a month, life is gonna change. You know, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. Because at the time, because remember, 19, I was a volunteer. 20, I started earning 1,500 a month. 21, I was earning now like 5,000 rands a month. And then at 23, that's when I went up to 10,000 a month.
Cool.
Now I'm like, okay, no, we've arrived. We've arrived. We're doing it big. But you immediately realize that you haven't arrived anywhere. You still have such a long way to go. So that 10,000 was the conditioning of where I come from. Because once again, when you come from nothing, you're just happy to have something. So chasing a salary, chasing that little increase, chasing that specific number, it becomes unfulfilling because there is no number that's ever going to be enough. There is no number. It doesn't matter what it is, unless you put your number so wild that you spend the rest of your life chasing it. Then perhaps. But the large majority of us can never get to a number that makes us feel like, okay, you know what? I think I'm fulfilled, I'm done, I'm happy. There's always another car, there's always another house, another child to have, another vacation you want to go to, another more experiences and all of that. So when you have a compelling vision, it becomes the governor that pushes you, that controls you. And then a salary will fall somewhere under that, because God will always make provision for a vision that is compelling.
Okay.
Right? God will always make provision. Whatever it is that you are pushing for, that you are going towards, you will get provision for it. You will get whatever it is that you need in order to accomplish it.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
For me, it came down to, okay, who do I want to be?
Okay.
Where do I want to go? How far can I push myself? And then as you go along, you know, as you grow and as your vision grows, salary grows, your income grows, and everything else grows with it. And of course, it doesn't grow by you doing nothing. You still have to pay attention, but you don't want to be chasing that. Now, that's not to say that I don't understand the reality of someone who needs money today. Right? There is someone who needs money right now.
Right now, yeah.
But even with that being the case, I know what it's like to need money right now. I know what it's like to not have food right now. But the only thing that got me through those seasons was having a vision and being able to go into my future and see a reality that was way different to what I'm going through right now. So every human being needs a vision.
So does that mean that for the youth, I'm speaking for the youth, they believe life is hard because they might not have a vision?
I think it's not that life is hard because you don't have a vision. I think life is directionless and meaningless. And it ends up becoming a miserable existence. Because you don't feel like there's any reason to be here. You don't feel a compelling reason to get out of bed. And so once you find a compelling reason for your existence, and by the way, that vision changes, right? And that's okay. That's okay. That vision, it grows as you grow. It changes as you change. You know, I used to have a vision that looked a certain way, but now it's different. So you want to be comfortable with the fact that it's going to change, but when you don't have that reason for pushing forward, that vision, then it becomes meaningless. You know, to put it to you in a different way, a person who ends their life mostly ends their life because they don't see life beyond right now.
There isn't any meaning to it.
There's no meaning. There's no
purpose.
expected future. So for them, this is all my existence is this pain. But a person with vision knows that because I can see into my future, because I can see further than right now, I know that around the corner it gets better. Over this hill of my pain, it gets better. And so I'm able to endure it. I'm able to get up and push and go, you know, with that understanding. So everyone needs something that pulls them forward. You need to get very good at seeing. See into the future.
How would you define purpose?
I think it's a difficult thing, and one of the most challenging things about it is that everyone is always trying to define purpose somehow. Right? And it gets so challenging and confusing. But for me, a definition that I found to be helpful is just my reason for being here. Right? A purpose is the reason for which something is created. The purpose of the camera is to do exactly what it's doing right now. Once you start trying to play football with the camera, you will destroy it because it's not meant to do that. The purpose of the light, the purpose of the microphone, everything has its intended purpose. And so the challenge becomes when you try to take a human being and you try to define their purpose in the same way that you would a microphone. You see, a microphone will always be a microphone, right? It's no good for anything else. It cannot be a camera. It's a microphone. However, a human being can be a boxer, they can be a singer, they can be a president, they can be a preacher. The human being's potential is, like I said in the beginning, infinite. So I always try to explain to people that your purpose is not what you do, right? It's why you do it. Your purpose can never be to be a podcaster. That's that's just the means of expressing yourself and the vehicle that accomplishes your purpose.
Okay.
But it's why you're doing the podcast. That's the purpose. No, sometimes I hear someone say, I was born to be a footballer.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. You weren't. You can be good at it, but you could break your foot tomorrow and you can't play football anymore. Does that mean you should cease to exist? No. You will pivot. You will find another way to accomplish what it is that you wanted to accomplish through football.
Yeah.
And for some people, it is to have a voice so that you can speak to whatever, to impact people in whatever way, to entertain people. It doesn't matter what it is, but your purpose goes beyond the thing that you do. It's not the thing that you do. No one's purpose is to be a writer. Writing is how I accomplish my purpose.
Okay.
Would you say purpose is something that is discovered or is something that we create ourselves?
That's a very interesting question because, and I say it's a very interesting question because I don't have a definitive answer for it. When I say it's interesting, I mean that when I was younger, I used to think about how I need to discover my purpose.
Okay.
And then as I grow older, I'm starting to realize more and more as I go by every single day, as I having more experiences. I realize that much of what I'm doing and what I define as my purpose is shaped by my experiences. One, it is shaped by my desires. It is shaped by my ambitions. So I don't think you can just plainly say, no, you have to discover your purpose because there's only one thing that you were born to do, and once you discover that thing,
Then that's it.
I don't think that's the case. So I think it's a little more complex than people like to make it. And I'm not a big fan of trying to give definitive answers on complex matters of human existence because what do you mean purpose? Like human life is so long. The human being is so complicated. So I can never claim to fully understand why you're here. I can never claim to fully understand why I'm here. Because when I'm 50, I might find myself taking a completely different direction. I might find myself trying to feed starving children around the world, and at that time I will say that that's my purpose, right? But right now I could tell you that my purpose is different. So because it's something that develops as you develop, because it's something that changes as you change, I would say that it's a combination of factors. There is the influence of how God gifted you and where God placed you and positioned you, and then there is also the influence of those desires, the ambitions, the experiences, the struggles that all feed into what is my purpose now, right? Because if you think about a woman who lives the rest of her life helping gender-based violence survivors. And she does so because she went through a terrible experience of gender-based violence. You mean to say that that was her purpose? That's what she was born for? I don't really think that that's what she was born for. I think that's something that was determined by her experiences. And through that, of course, she can try to put the pieces together and say, okay, then that's the influence of what God did, how God brought me here. But there is the influence of experiences.
Wouldn't you say that purpose is allowing God to use you to impact other people for His kingdom?
That's a simpler way to put it. Right. That's a simpler way to put it because yes, to influence people, to impact people for His kingdom. And then the only time it gets complicated, which like I just spoke, is when we now have to have a conversation of what does it look like. Because sometimes as Christians we use very big words. We use for His kingdom. What does that mean? I'm a politician. Tell me, what does influence for His kingdom look like? Right? I'm a doctor. Tell me what it looks like. I am a teenager who is 14 years old. What does that actually mean for me? So I think we have to get very good at, demystifying, these concepts, because sometimes we make it, for his glory.
Yeah.
Explain it to an
An
18-year-old
18-year-old. Yeah.
who's trying to figure out what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Does it mean I have to not go find a job? I have to not do anything? I must just
Yeah.
go and evangelize? What does it actually mean? Explain it to me.
Okay.
That's what it comes down to.
So I'm looking at myself when I was 14 years old, and career day came, and I had to choose something that sort of aligned with a vision, or what I thought was the vision, because I was getting high marks. You're getting your A's in your math, getting your A's in your English or whatsoever. So it really took me back as to I had come to a situation where I realized that this is not what I wanted to do. So how do you come out of that head and that space of putting yourself in a box because of high marks?
So it is a question of, first of all, do you want to be the engineer, the doctor, the lawyer, right? And once you've answered that, then what I will always say to people is, in spite of what you want to do, whatever you want to do, there's always a way to get to it. But one of the breadcrumbs to what it is that you're supposed to be doing is where you excel. Life can be hard, my man. Life can be really, really difficult. And sometimes when people talk about what it is that you should be doing, the direction you should take, people often start on the outside, where they say, where is the most money? Where are the opportunities? Where are the open doors? But some people just don't have the grace to function in those areas. And part of grace, when we talk about grace, we're not just talking about this mystic, air that just blows on you and things happen for you. One of the elements of grace is ability, right? So if you know that you have the ability to do this, then the question is, what do I want to do? Okay, now how do I use what I have to do that well, to give me an advantage? Because you will need an advantage. You will need every single advantage you can get. So for the kid who is excelling at maths and science and whatever, fine. And you may say, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm not saying don't, but figure out how to use what you already have as an advantage to do that. So I will put it to you this way. I think about someone, we're running a podcast here, right? If you are somebody who loves media, you love the media world, you have to understand that media is not only in front of the camera.
Yeah.
True.
Right? Media is not only in front of the camera. There is behind the camera. There is the making of the camera itself.
Yeah.
There are sound engineers. There are, videographers and everybody else. So the question is, how do I use what I have to my advantage? And you will need that. And understand that you are not necessarily graced to do something that you are completely incapable of doing. And this is another thing that I feel like sometimes we need to really clarify it for people, because when we talk about how the Lord qualifies the called, He doesn't call the qualified.
Yeah.
Okay.
We throw these things around to make people feel like even if you are utterly incompetent, God will use you.
Yeah.
And that is such terrible advice.
Wow.
You don't think so?
No. I'll give you an example, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. You look at David and Goliath.
Yeah.
So people hear this and they say, yes, I can be like David. I can slay the giant.
Slay the giant.
But you have to realize, David doesn't walk up to Goliath and wrestle him.
Yeah.
He doesn't do hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Goliath would have probably snapped him in half.
Yeah.
Right? David uses what he's used before, what he has excelled at. So he says, I've slayed the lion, I've slayed the bear,
Yeah.
I've got experience to get to this point. So somebody looking at him might be like, this boy is outmatched.
Yeah.
He is unqualified to go against Goliath.
Sure.
But this boy has something he's good at.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you go look up the history, armies had slingers. right?
Okay.
Which is what David used to defeat Goliath. Armies literally had slingers who would be a deadly line of defense for an army.
Yeah.
They were vicious with it. These guys
Yeah.
could knock a bird off the air while it's swooshing by.
Yeah.
So to look at that and say, yes, like David, God is going to use me to do mighty things even though I'm not qualified. David was competent. David was really, really good. He was
Yeah.
excellent at what he did.
Yeah.
You go throughout the Bible, you find evidence of people who are competent, people who are good. Now, it's not to completely say that if you are not qualified, God can't open doors for you. Qualified is not the same as competent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Qualified is not the same as capable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because sometimes you are capable, you are competent because you have been doing the work in the shadows, in silence, while no one else was there to clap for you and to see you. And to other people, you are unqualified, and God raises you when He believes that you are ready to say, "Here He is. This is your moment." So we have to clarify what we mean when we try to make people believe that no, God will take you and He will take you up even though you are not qualified. No, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
You still have to be competent. You still have to be capable. And part of God qualifying the called is Him equipping you. Him giving you the grace to actually excel at the thing. So most people, especially Christians, need to get very good at that, very good at matters of excellence, questioning themselves, questioning your work ethic, going from wanting to be supported to serving with excellence.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, as you're saying, context, I like that because it's like I read and say it says, "Be still and know I am the Lord," and I actively take that and be still literally instead of understanding the context of what that actually means. Wow.
Yeah, you see, because that's the thing, right? The Bible is an entire book.
Yeah.
It's what some people do is kind of like watching a Fast and Furious movie. And when I ask you, what's the Fast and Furious about?
Yeah.
You tell me that it's a love story
Okay.
because you saw two people kissing.
Yeah.
And you saw two people in love.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's not a love story. It's not a romantic movie.
Yeah.
Or because you heard a joke in there, you tell me that Fast and Furious is a comedy.
Yeah.
No, it's not a comedy. You've got to watch the whole thing
thing,
in
yeah.
order to get the entire context of it.
yeah.
And then you can enjoy the love story, you can enjoy the comedy of it, but you have to grasp the whole entire context of the entire movie. And so when I hear people quote the Bible sometimes, people who are Christians and non-Christians, people often do it from a place of just having taken that one snippet.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you are necessarily wrong in that moment. There might be a time when you need to be still,
Yeah.
right? And then there is a time when God also calls you to move forward,
Yeah.
right? There's a time when God calls you to say, listen, why are you crying? Get up and move.
Yeah.
Then it's time to get up and move.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit more into prayer? What is the purpose of prayer and how does it work?
Prayer, to us, the way we understand it, is that it's communion with God.
Okay.
Right? Prayer is communion with God, and ultimately the purpose of prayer is alignment.
Okay.
The purpose of prayer is not miracles. It's not, it's not necessarily to move God. The purpose of prayer, and I actually put this in my book, Unlocking Favor with God and People, the purpose of prayer is to move us into alignment with God, not to move God.
Okay.
God is unchanging. God is immovable. God is eternal, everlasting. The same yesterday, today, and forever. So when I go down on my knees to pray, I am praying that I will be in alignment with the will of God, with the purposes of God, that I will become more aware of the presence of God, that my faith will grow.
Okay.
That's the purpose of prayer. The purpose of prayer is for that connection which keeps me in alignment.
Okay.
But it's not to get things done.
Yeah.
Prayer doesn't get things done. Action gets things done.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Action gets things done. Prayer puts us in alignment so that the action can be effective and impactful.
Oh, wow. I like that because it also says in the Bible that faith without action is dead. So
Of course.
you act first and then you pray later.
Absolutely.
Well, but most
Or
there are
vice
some
versa, right?
Christians.
before,
Vice
then
versa.
Yeah.
You pray, you seek direction. Just like King David, who when he would go into war, he would say, "Lord, should I go?"
Yeah.
And if God says yes, he goes,
goes.
knowing that he's got the victory.
Yeah.
And if he says, "God, should I go?" and God says, "Not yet,"
Yeah.
he sits down, even though he feels confident that he can do it and whatever.
Yeah.
He'll have to wait so that God will confirm when it's time to go.
to go away. What inspired you to write Favor of
Unlocking
God?
favor.
Unlocking favor with God.
Unlocking favor with God and people came from where I was, right? It came from where I was,
Yeah.
which was a place of questioning, how did I get to where I am right now?
Yeah.
I grew up in a village called Tatlaganyane. From there, went to a village called Mahojaning in the Northern Cape. Came to Rustenburg. When I got to high school, my first day of high school, I was embarrassed because I couldn't really speak English well.
Okay.
Growing up at 18 years old, I had to go and serve at the church instead of going to university because I didn't have the means to go to university.
Okay.
I didn't come from a family that had the means, that had the connections, whether it be corporate, political, whatever. I didn't have that. And so now here I am at a point where, I started this year, at the beginning of this year, my first gig was at the Parliament of South Africa.
Yeah.
Right? My book is being read in different countries around the world. My voice is being heard in different countries around the world. How did we get here?
Yeah.
How does an ordinary guy do that? And my answer has always been the favor of God. And within that very simple answer, the favor of God, are so many principles that must be understood. And so the purpose of writing the book is to say, I know that when I say the favor of God, it might mislead somebody into thinking that I must just wait for the favor of God. And no. The favor of God is unlocked through certain principles. And so we open the book with the principle of being a giver, right? The power of a gift. And the power of a gift speaks to your gift will make room for you and put you in the presence of great men.
Okay.
But your gift is what you give. It's not necessarily the fact that you are talented and you'll go far.
Okay.
No, your gift will make room for you literally means whatever you give, that's what will open doors for you. Right? It's where the concept of a bribe came from. The concept of a bribe came from the fact that when you give, you if you one day you get married and then your uncles will go to negotiate your lobola and they'll have a vulamlo, you know.
Okay.
But it's a concept that runs throughout our society that givers are often favored. Givers are often favored. Now, of course, all of these principles have the same thing in common, which is that they can be twisted, just like any principle. Principles can be twisted. You know, we talk about the principle of relationships. One of those principles, which is relationships, also comes down to understanding that, yes, God favors people, but God works through people. God works through people. So you can never claim that all I need is God. I don't need people. No, you need people because the moment you ask God, He will send a person. Doesn't matter what you're asking Him for. He will send it through a person. So you can never disavow people. So, you know, you have those principles. You have the principle of value, right? In there, I think it was day 2 that speaks about the power of value.
Okay.
The value that you bring to your society, to the marketplace. Never mind the marketplace, even in your relationships, in friendships, in a marriage, with your children, your parents. Relationships are empowered by value. Being a person who carries value grants you favor with people. When people think about who it is that they should call, they think about the most valuable person that they know, right? And then you have the principle of excellence that I also write about. And excellence speaks to exactly that. It's the way in which you do what you do, the standard at which you do what you do. That's not good enough to just do things to get them done. And most people are stuck because they have this mentality that just wants to get things done for the sake of getting them done. And so for me, once again, that was one of those principles that I realized, oh, I got to where I am because one day when I was 19, 20, there was a mentor who told me that how you do anything is how you do everything, right? You do this way, it will start spilling into other areas of your life. And they also told me that everything about you says something about you.
Okay.
And so I'm looking at you right now. The way you present yourself tells me something about you. So there are those little things. There are those little things that you see all over the place. And for me, it all comes down to that. It all comes down to excellence. It comes down to, relationships. It comes down to a kingdom focused mission. So there are all of these principles in there, all the way to generosity, faith, prayer and fasting, the power of God's presence. So there are practical principles as well as spiritual principles.
Yeah.
So what led me to write that book was to say, okay, let me dissect how we got here. Let me dissect what it is that I've been doing that has worked for me so well, because there's someone else who is stuck, who is desperate, who is tired of losing, tired of not getting results, and they want to know how it is that they get unstuck. And that was my answer.
Before we end the podcast, I just wanted to ask you on, we're two young people, and
Wow, I know where he's going. I know where he's going.
we're finding it hard, man, in the dating, courtship and stuff. So I'm sure you're married, man. Are you
Almost.
not
yet.
almost married? Oh, sorry.
Almost.
Okay. But I wanted you to give us advice on how do we find someone that we can build a future with, a partner that you can, be with and go forward with.
So, man, this is not a question that people often ask me, but
Yeah.
I think you're asking me at the right time, because if you asked me some time ago, I probably wouldn't have said anything. But like I said, I'll be getting married in a few months.
Cool stuff, yeah.
But my goodness, it's been a long journey, my guy. It's been a long journey. I say that with a sigh of relief in my soul, because my goodness, why did it take so long? But there are a couple of things, right? There are a couple of things which, I think a better way to approach this is, what would I say to my younger self in my early 20s?
Okay.
I would say to myself, first of all, you're not too young to get married, right? You're not too young to get married. The Bible talks about enjoying the wife of your youth. I think the more experiences you have with more people, the more difficult it gets for you to get to that point where you have to pick one.
Okay.
It is so much easier to just stick to one person when all you've known is one person. But once you go from here to there, to there, to there, to there, you're kind of stealing from your future. So if I could speak to my younger self, I would say, you're not too young. You're not too young. Figure out if it's possible. And possible doesn't have to mean, do you have millions so that you can? No, possible just means, can you take care of yourself? Can you afford food for two?
Okay.
If you can afford a place to stay, I'm sure she can stay with you, so you're ready to get married. Can you afford to put clothes on her back? If you can, then you do it, right? And it's not about what type of food, what type of clothes, what type of house, because all of those things improve as time goes on. You'll get a bigger ring, you'll get better clothes and nicer food and bigger houses. You'll get to that. But the only question right now is, can you afford to give any food at all, any shelter at all, any clothes at all? Then if you can find somebody who really is willing to rock with you, I'd say you're not too young. And secondly, the second thing that I would tell you is, you should never let anybody tell you that they don't want you twice. I think I heard this from Steve Harvey. He was talking to a lady and he said, don't let anybody tell you that they don't want you twice. But I say this because one of the mistakes that I made is having to let somebody tell me twice that they don't want me. And by that I mean, you pursue and you chase, and they say no, 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 and you say, I'm gonna get it, because you're a guy, you have ego, you are proud, and you believe I can do this.
Sure.
But eventually,
Yeah.
eventually you will realize, and she will realize, that I never wanted him in the first place. I never wanted him in the first place. That's what she's going to realize. And it will end the same way. So cut it before it even starts. Cut it before it even starts. And ultimately, I think I would tell you that you're not really supposed to be pursuing. Not really supposed to be pursuing. And I know that there's this idea that you gotta find the one and then you gotta go chase them down. You're not really supposed to be doing that. I really believe that as a man, I really believe that what you're supposed to be doing is you're supposed to be developing yourself and working on yourself in such a way that your potential suitors will be drawn to you and you can pick the one that you want. That's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to just pick whoever it is that you think is the one out of all the ones that are saying, hey, notice me. But that's ultimately what you want, because whether you like it or not, you will end up there. You will end up at a place where you do have to develop yourself. You do have to work on yourself. So I would say that right now, the best approach to it is work on yourself in such a way that the right one will position themselves around you. And if you don't like any of the ones that are around you, guess what? You just keep on leveling up yourself, and you have better options positioning themselves around you. And I'll say this finally. I used to be told all the time, you have to be sure that she likes you for you, not for what you can do. What does that mean? We all like someone for what they can do. Listen, I'm not here doing a podcast with you guys because you just think I'm a nice guy and you pick me up off the street. It's for what I can offer. I'm not having a conversation with you guys because I just think you're nice guys. It's because of what you can offer. You're doing good. You are well put together. You present yourselves well. I'm not saying you have it all together, but it's because you have something. So don't buy into this idea that people just have to love you for you. What does that mean? It will be because you have influence. It will be because you're a man of means. It will be because you're the kind of guy that solves problems. It will be because you're the kind of guy who has relationships in the right places and you are well connected. It will be because you are intelligent and articulate. It will be because of those things. And guess what? You will also choose them because of all these other things. Because when we say to people that, you gotta just find someone who will love you for you. Does that mean that you would choose someone who you clearly know is not good for you, just because it's for them? It's not about what they do. No, it's always about what we do. It's always about what we offer. It's always about what we bring. So I would say focus on that. Focus on who it is that you are, and level up, become as sharp a man as you can be. And I'm telling you now, at just the right time, you will see from the ones who keep putting their hands up, you'll say, okay, you then. I'll go with you. But chasing, I don't recommend chasing.
Shout out for that advice. Thank you so much for that advice.
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. It hits straight home, He's been in a couple of relationships. I've been in a couple of relationships, and clearly it hasn't worked out. But ever since we started putting our heads down and actually, working, making sure that we focusing on what we need to focus on and becoming husbands, eventually someday we will get married.
They want to keep coming. You guys are moving now. You guys are on you are in your bag. You doing the work. You got this podcast that's coming. This podcast is about to be popping. Oh, they coming. Oh, they coming, man. I can see it. I know it. And when it happens, hey man, once again, don't find yourself being bamboozled. You just pick one and you rock with them. You rock with them. So
Mr. Puluko, thank you so much.
I learned a lot
for such valuable insights.
I appreciate it.
I'm definitely sure the audience has also learned a lot from you, and Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Do you have something to say, my son?
Just thank you to Mr. Puloko. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I don't
Guys-
know. I don't know if and buy the book.
Please, here's the book. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Unlocking
It's-
favor with God and people.
Yeah.
By the way, it's only available on our website.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, polokoglobal.com. So
Okay.
you guys can put it somewhere
Yeah.
there.
We'll put it.
Link down in the description and have a fantastic one. Cheers.